I am Bianca Luna Fabres, Communications Manager at the European Network for Women in Leadership. Last year, I won the She Can, We Can video competition of Chatham House. The Women's March and the Me Too movement have shown us that the rules of the game have changed, that society has changed. We will not wait 100 years for gender inequalities to disappear. We want gender equality now.
I am proud of the work we're doing to empower girls and women in the UK and around the world. Unless we enable everyone to reach their full potential, our nations are never going to. McKinsey estimate that if women were economically empowered, global GDP would be boosted by $28 trillion in 2025. So this can't happen soon enough. But to close the economic gender gap at current rates, it's going to take us 217 years. So we need to do more. Through UK Aid, we're supporting millions of girls access education, setting them on their way to achieving their potential. And so far, we've helped 36 million women access financial services so they can be economically empowered.
I'm Mark Kent, the British Ambassador to Argentina. I want to wish you all the best for your upcoming meeting and to say that we here in the Embassy are working closely with the Argentine government and with Chatham House in support of the Gender Equality Initiative. This is important this year for Argentina because Argentina is heading the G20 group of countries and I'm glad to say that Chatham House is working closely with the W20 group to ensure that there's no going back on the progress made on gender equality.
Hi, I'm Brenda Trinoden, Global Chair of the 30% Club, and I'm here to tell you that there is no going back. We have got such momentum in our campaign. We have 37 FTSE 100 CEOs, 28 FTSE 250 CEOs signed up to targets of 30% in their senior leadership teams by 2020. We have an investor group with 32 members and almost 11 trillion in assets under management, agitating for change in their investee companies. And public policy is working in our favor. Hampton Alexander, gender pay gap reporting, the Women in Finance Charter. All of this because it's good for business. There's no going back.
I'm Robert Fry, Ambassador of Canada to Argentina. Unfortunately, there's always a risk of taking a step backwards on gender equality. We should not take anything for granted when it comes to making progress. We need to continue to move forward day by day in all that we do. We have to be examples for others, stand up for what's right, educate those around us, especially children and young people all over the world. None of us can move forward when half of us are held back. The only way to build peace and prosperity is moving forward together.
Purna Sen, UN Women. We are witnessing the greatest movement we've ever seen of women against sexual violence across the world. This is the moment, this is the time that abusers have been put on notice and women have said they've had enough. This is the time when governments and when the media and when others are starting to listen. This is a moment where we have to make change. There is no going back.
My name is Alan Philps. I'm editor of the World Today magazine at Chatham House. When we published an issue with all female contributors, there was a line on the cover which said, "The unfinished business of women at work." Obviously, that business is still unfinished, but I don't believe it can ever be rolled back. These days, the 1950s model of a single breadwinner supporting a whole family is getting rarer. The fact is, our economy relies on paid female labour, and once that is the case, there is no turning back for gender equality.
I'm Neelam Chibber from Industry Foundation in India. There is no going back for the hundreds and thousands of women we work with in rural India and Africa. These poverty-stricken women have huge aspirations to educate their children, especially their daughters, and make them owners of their destiny.
I'm Elizabeth Eisel, founder and CEO of the Global Institute for Experienced Entrepreneurship, and I'm delighted to be participating in our No Turning Back forum. Women have always been a force of nature. Stories abound of women catalyzing change over the centuries. But the problem is that those stories, whether chiseled in stone, written on papyrus, beaten by drums, or pressed ink on paper are often isolated incidents that can be dismissed as one-offs. Today, however, in our social media-driven world, it's not possible to dismiss these powerful stories. Today, we forces of nature have a global audience for our ideas and our stories, which can be transmitted at warp speed. Women have always been social, but now their collective voices reverberate around the world, turning ideas into action. Change is happening, and there's no turning back.
Susana de la Puente Vice, Ambassador of Peru to the United Kingdom. Society has demanded and taken greater and greater steps towards gender equality. The participation of women in all spheres of life, political, cultural, economic, diplomatically, has increased significantly over the last 20 years, and there's no return. This balance is absolutely required to ensure sustainable growth and development to the world.
I'm Senior Project Manager at the Women for Africa Foundation. I believe there is no way back for gender equality because women have already proven to the world their capacity, their skills to bring peace, to bring development, to bring gender and human rights. But we can and must keep fighting because staying still means going back.
My name is Anna Golub, and I'm a policy analyst at UN Women. Gender equality. Why is there no going back? Because gender equality is a human right, and you can't take away human rights. We've been building a transnational women's movement, and we're very, very strong. We'll stand up to backlash, and more people are joining every day. Youth, companies, even more men. There's never been so much solidarity, and our institutions have been changing incrementally for a very long time, and we've seen it change in our lifetimes, and we won't forget that.
Hello, my name is Diego Piacentini, and after 16 years at Amazon, I came back to Italy to help the Italian government with the digital transformation. Why there is no going back with gender equality? It is true in all aspects of society. It is especially true in technology, where the gender equality issue is still very, very high. We need to improve, we need to go stronger, and why is that? Because I don't want to live in a world where most software algorithms are written by men, especially when it comes to artificial intelligence. Have a great event.
Mary Gowdy. I'm a member of the British House of Lords. I take the Labour whip, and I'm a global advocate for the rights of women and children around the world. Women make up 51% of the world, and we make over 80% of the financial decisions around the world. By advocating women's equality, we can add $12 trillion to the global growth by 2025.
My name is Nick Grono, and I'm the CEO of the Freedom Fund, a private donor fund dedicated to ending modern slavery and human trafficking, crimes which disproportionately affect women and girls. I'm also the co-chair of the Joe Cox Foundation, a priority of which is to encourage women to enter into public life. Clearly there's no going back on gender equality, but the real challenge is how we promote genuine gender equality. And that requires organisations like ours to create inclusive and supportive cultures for all women. And that should be a priority for us all.
I'm Sandy Rees-Jones, and I work in construction. And I think there is no going back on gender equality. And in fact, I think we're even beginning to move forward. So I'm really looking forward to the Chatham House Summit on the 9th and 10th of July. And why do I think we're moving forward? Even in my die-hard macho construction industry? It's because men are changing. Men at the top recognise their wives or partners want a career too. More men want careers for their daughters. And in my industry, more men are calling for a change to the bad working conditions and lack of respect, which for years have been the excuse for not attracting more women into the industry, but which now are recognised as one of the factors for the shockingly high suicide rate amongst male construction workers. So no going back on gender equality, because it benefits everyone.